For a team to be successful in Hell's Kitchen, it requires good communication, talent, and of course, great teamwork. But it's safe to say, a team of 8 to 10 chefs all being talented and easy to work with is hard to come by in Hell's Kitchen. However, while no team in HK has ever been perfect, some teams stand out more than others for just how atrocious they really are. What's going on, guys? I'm FlynnMasters, and today, we'll be looking at the worst teams in Hell's Kitchen history. Now, when it comes to the rankings, I'll not only be looking at how bad they were during services and challenges, but I'll also be factoring in just how unlikable these teams were as a group. Before we begin, if you love Hell's Kitchen, then please be sure to smash that like and subscribe button, as we're building a great HK community on this channel, and I've got plenty of great HK videos coming out on a weekly basis. With all that said, let's take a look at the worst red and blue teams in Hell's Kitchen history.
Bloody hell, here I go again.
Let's start off with some honorable mentions before we get into the top 5. The Season 9 Red Team could be considered one of the worst teams in terms of likability, but to be fair, that's mostly because of one person.
Like that to other people makes them feel as though they're not taking that serious.
I'm not trying to make anyone feel
okay,
inferior.
I'm just telling you what you said.
Elise, can I
and
please
you definitely
talk
don't make
for
me
What?
You don't make me feel inferior. I just don't like how you try to act like no one else around you is taking it serious.
You may consider a lot of the old school teams as some of the worst, but to be fair, it's expected that the talent wouldn't be great in earlier seasons, considering how new of a concept Hell's Kitchen was, and half the contestants weren't even pro chefs. The Season 15 Blue Team featured some pretty terrible chefs, included a sexist, and only one of its members made it to the Black Jackets. And lastly, the team that just missed making it on my list is the Season 17 Red Team. And remember, Season 17 was an all-star season. How can an all-star team be one of the worst teams ever? Well, when they're terribly inconsistent, and the quote all-stars were only brought back due to their villainous personalities, they ended up being a complete train wreck. With those honorable, or in this case, dishonorable mentions out of the way, let's get into what I think are the top 5 worst teams in Hell's Kitchen history. We begin with the team coming from Season 8, and I'll be honest, I had a tough time choosing which team should be on the list. As with Season 8 being the weakest group of chefs in Hell's Kitchen history, I knew I had to include at least one of them. However, I think the Red Team just edges out the Blue Team in terms of talent and likability, as long as you don't include one person.
You are a little ass bitch! Yeah, you deserve to up! You're an executive chef! You ain't done better than me at all! At all!
But seriously, the Season 8 Blue Team had Raj on it for 3 episodes. Of course they're gonna be a train wreck to start.
You're 50, how dare you condescend to me, man. You stupid
Bro, you're 50 years old and you couldn't pick parsley.
You're a douchebag.
Go, bro!
Dilly-dally at pastry section.
Shut up.
The shit you cooked
Shut
doesn't even
up.
work.
Shut up! Shut the up!
Things don't get much better for the Blue Team in terms of talent, as Louis, Boris, and Rob were all horribly inconsistent. In fact, the only 2 Blue Team members to make it to the Black Jackets this season were Trev and Russell, and Trev only made it that far due to being carried by the Red Team at the final 9. And go figure that the only 2 Blue Team members to make the Black Jackets this season were easily the most unlikable figures on their original team, with Russell even taking the crown for a lot of HK fans when it comes to the most hated contestant.
Just got dirty. Time into the train tracks. I came out alive, and you are in so much trouble, bro.
I wonder if Raj's early presence still had an effect on the Blue Team throughout the season, which might explain why they were so bad.
Raise your hand for Raj. Yeah. Everybody's just completely jealous of me. And that's the only reason why they want to eliminate me, because they know I'm going to win.
The nickname for the number 4 team on the list is Hell's Bitches, and for good reason. The 4th worst team in Hell's Kitchen history is the Red Team from Hell's Kitchen Season 10. Now, talent-wise, they aren't bad. They were pretty even with the Blue Team service-wise, and in fact beat them 6-4 when it came to reward challenges. But man, the fact that they even won 1 challenge this season is incredible in its own right, with how bad the personalities were on this team. Kimmy, Robin, and Tiffany are some of the worst female personalities to ever step foot in Hell's Kitchen, as they constantly got into fights, and for some reason, had it against Barbie from the start.
I'm gonna get that bitch out of here. Barbie's gonna be gone. I'm gonna beat this bitch's ass, dude. I know, I hear you.
Barbie's the reason why we went down tonight. I don't know why she's here.
What is wrong with you?
And while their cooking skills weren't nearly as bad as their personalities, they certainly weren't perfect. Danielle, Roshni, and Brianna all struggled during their short time on the Red Team. Kimmy's worst performance came on a Southern night, and Season 10 was of course the season of the kickouts, and there was a plethora of them in the Red Kitchen this season.
Raw pork again, pink and bloody in the middle. And one more thing, get out! Burnt mash, get out. Get out. Today we need, look at me, a thermometer. Get out!
So between the appropriate nickname and the overall inconsistency, I think it's fair to say the Season 10 Red Team deserves a spot in the top 5. Oh well, at least this team gave us the legendary Christina Wilson. If this list was based strictly on how unlikable these teams were, then there's no doubt this team would be number 1. At number 3 is without question the most hated team in Hell's Kitchen history, the Blue Team from Season 16. Seriously, what in the world was production thinking casting so many douchebags on one team? I mean, let's go through the list of assholes on the Blue Team. To start off, there's Johnny, an absolute hothead who was always putting the blame on others and was one of the biggest culprits of the overall bullying that took place on the Blue Team this season, as his misogyny was on full display in the absolute most disgusting of ways. Speaking of misogyny, arguably a top 5 Hell's Kitchen douchebag came from this Blue Team, with that being Matt Hearn. Matt was also a constant bully, and notably was always putting down the women, but what makes Matt stand out so much is that he didn't even show respect to Chef Ramsay.
Chef Ramsay is an asshole. Like, I have one bad night service, and everything else I do flawlessly, and then I go home. The whole time I've been here, it's been nothing but disrespect. If I was on the street right now, and he came up to me with that same I'd fuck him up, point blank.
Gennaro is one of, if not the least passionate chef to ever enter Hell's Kitchen. Paulie was a complainer and was always putting the blame on others, especially during the endgame. And then of course you have Andrew, who literally cheated on his fiance on national TV to be with Heather.
All we're doing is laying next to each other.
Me and Heather are friends. You know, we're out here enjoying the moment, and she's a good girl. So hey, am I gonna flirt with her a little bit? Maybe. I get married in a couple months, so it's probably not gonna be a strong relationship.
You looking at
Huh?
Not right.
Talent-wise, they sucked as well, as the Red Team beat them in 8 of the 10 services, and they got kicked out a record 7 times, and Paulie of all people was the best chef to come from that team. I mean, Paulie is a fighter, but when someone as inconsistent as him ends up being the only competition for Heidi, Heather, and Ryan, you know these teams are lopsided. The only positive for the Season 16 Blue Team is that they actually did have the upper hand over the Red Team when it came to the challenges, winning 7 of 12, and that's the only thing that keeps them from being the worst team in Hell's Kitchen history.
I don't know why you even look at me. Like, just stop talking to me for the rest of this season. Thank you. Good.
I'm not drinking the haterade, but Jessica, shut the up. I can confess I hate Jessica. Pretty much. Yep, hate her.
Nobody likes you.
That's not true.
Nobody likes you.
That's not true.
I know most people consider this team number 1, especially since this team's failures was the main driving point of the season, but at number 2 is the Blue Team from Season 11. I mean, what can you say? There was 14 challenges that season, and they only won 2 of them, and the second one just so happened to come after Janelle, the winner of the season, joined Zach and John at the final 6. While it wasn't quite as lopsided dinner service wise, this season's Blue Team still had some pretty bad chefs who made some all-time bad mistakes. Sebastian is one of the most notorious first boots in Hell's Kitchen due to his less than serious attitude.
Zachy,
we got
talk to me.
Halibut, one Brazino.
Zachy Wacky.
Zachy Wacky.
Sorry, I apologize about that, chef.
Yeah, do me a favor. Get out.
Yes, chef.
Off, will you?
Barrett and Jeremy made some of the worst mistakes in the show's history, as Barrett committed 2 deadly acts in back-to-back services, while Jeremy made, in my opinion, the dumbest mistake of all time in Hell's Kitchen.
See those 6 glamorous ladies, slightly older? Yeah? And look.
Oh my God.
The paper.
You got the parchment on it, man? What, you trying to kill people?
Hey! For Chef James's wife, pink chicken. Chef James's wife is pregnant.
Oh my gosh.
Watch your back. Come on, come down.
Hey, all of you, come here. Some disgusting pig brought me the sample scrambled eggs. The sample scrambled eggs that I cooked an hour ago.
Make sure you guys study the sample plates.
To say Dan and Ray didn't act their age would be an understatement, as Dan was the definition of a whiner and complainer, while Ray was constantly getting into petty arguments with Dan, and his kitchen etiquette wasn't great considering he had been a chef for over 30 years.
Raymond, taste that. Fingers. Spoons are everywhere.
Ray, you just stuck your finger into a risotto in front of Chef Ramsay in Hell's Kitchen. That's just stupid.
Other than the fact that they competed pretty well against the red team when it came to the services, the main thing that keeps this team out of the top spot is due to the three great chefs of John, Anthony, and Michael. John of course was a beast, and Michael and Anthony should have both made it much further, but were unfairly eliminated over the inconsistent Zach, as Ramsay and production likely knew that keeping Zach around would give them the best odds at creating a female-dominated black jacket group to keep in line with the theme of the season. And yeah, if that was indeed the goal of production, Zach proved to them that it was smart to keep him around for as long as possible.
Hey, look at me. Come on.
Yes, chef.
Don't shut down on me, Zach.
No, I'm not shutting down.
Zach's got 9 lives, man. But with 3 people in the kitchen, now the spotlight's on, dude.
In my opinion, the worst team in Hell's Kitchen history is the red team of season 7. I mean seriously, where do you start with this team? Let's go over the stats first, with the most shocking and pathetic stat of all, being that they did not win one dinner service. Okay, technically they didn't lose the episode 4 service per se, as that was a good service for both teams, but still, how can you not beat the blue team one time? Their challenge performance isn't much better, as the blue team beat them 7-3 in that department as well, meaning that the red team actually beat the blue team only 3 times combined between the challenges and dinner services. And yeah, just taking one look at the red team, you can understand why they went down as the worst team ever, as their skills and personalities weren't even close to average. Stacy, Jamie, and Maria were all prototypical early boots. Siobhan cracked under the slightest bit of pressure. Fran was a Karen in the kitchen who somehow made it all the way to the final 8, despite literally having one good service, and even then, she couldn't help but screw up.
Second nominee and why?
My second nominee is Nelka.
It would have been nice for y'all to let me know that, though. Don't just bring me up here and surprise me.
No, Scott.
No.
Nelka,
Yes, chef.
you had a bad service, but not as bad as these two back in line.
Absolutely, chef.
And stand close to Fran.
Speaking of Nelka, despite being one of the better chefs on the red team, she would go on to have the biggest meltdown in Hell's Kitchen history.
Nelka,
Yes, chef.
the lobster is raw. Out. Get out! Adam,
Yes, chef.
take your jacket off and off!
Oh, chef, don't say that, please. Please don't say that. Oh, my God.
Due to all this losing, Chef Ramsay was forced to send 2 men over to the red team to save them, but both of them not only flopped as leaders, but were absolute assholes as well. The first one to be switched was Scott, the definition of someone who is all bark but no bite.
I just bust ass every day. I have a calmness about me during service, no matter what the stresses bring. By far, I'm the best cook in this team, the best leader in this team. I can accomplish
I
things.
can't take it anymore. Off back in line.
This team will die if I'm not here.
Scott, give me your jacket.
I certainly am the best cook on the red team, but when you're working with teammates that aren't as qualified to be there as you are, it makes it hard.
And then there's Benjamin, a top tier chef in the show's history, but man, when he was switched to the red team, it was almost like he became a different person, as he wasn't nearly as consistent after the switch, failed to lead them to any victories, and good God, out of nowhere, he became an absolute asshole.
What do we want to do for sides?
I love rice. I love mashed potatoes.
I'm not a big fan of serving rice in restaurants because it's like poor food.
Rice is poor food. Wow.
I really do wonder if all the losing got to Benjamin's head, because I know season 7 and 17 were filmed nearly 10 years apart, and a person can change dramatically in that time period, but when you compare Benjamin from season 7 to 17, it's literally like watching 2 different people. The obvious redeeming quality about this team is that it produced the winner of the season in Holly, but even then, she's regarded as one of the weaker winners, with most people agreeing that Jay deserved the win over her. So between the terrible stats, awful individual performances, and nasty personalities, there's no doubt in my mind that the red team of season 7 is, and always will be, the worst team in Hell's Kitchen history.
Do me a favor. Off, all of you. Get out! Get out!
I would love to stand.
Get out! Out! Get out! Get out!
I'm sick of this.
Get out!
Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video and want to see more unique Hell's Kitchen content like this, then please be sure to smash that like and subscribe button, and leave a comment down below on which team you think is the worst group of chefs to ever be put together in Hell's Kitchen. With all that said, take care everyone, and I'll see you next time.
Get out of there.